Today, we're going to look at former Trump advisor Steve Bannon's arrest for fraud. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and welcome to the channel. Now, if you're new here and you like what you hear, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Now, let's get into the facts. This is Brian Kolfage. He's a war hero, a triple amputee and founder of We Fund That Wall. Now, this group was simple. They wanted to build the southern border wall with private funds. So they would raise $1 billion, give it to the government, and the government would build the wall. But we had an issue. No one realistically thought that they would raise $1 billion. Well, to be honest with you, nobody realistically thought that they would raise $1 million. But they did. They happened to raise $25 million. Now, interestingly enough, the original terms of the GoFundMe account was that none of the money would be paid out unless they reached $1 billion. So you had a problem. Now you had a GoFundMe account with $25 million in it, but you couldn't take it out. It got so crazy. Here are some clips of how Fox News covered the wave of donations from when they didn't have any donations to when they got up to 25 million.
Private group now putting up sections of the border wall in the El Paso area, and it's using private donations to fund it.
Enter Brian Kolfage. He's a triple amputee Air Force vet who started a GoFundMe page for the wall, the wall that the politicians don't want to fund. And he started this just 3 days ago. In that short time, he's already raised more than $9.7 million.
Just 5 days, it's raised over $13 million due to donations from Americans. And in only 10 days, it has raised close to $18 million.
Today, Trish, I spoke to Brian Kolfage, the Air Force veteran who lost 3 of his limbs in combat. This is the man that started the GoFundMe page. In 3 weeks, Trish, he's raised $19 million.
The private GoFundMe group called Build the Wall raised $20 million in 20 days.
We Build the Wall has been raising money for their project online. So far, some $22 million has been raised.
We Build the Wall, that's the GoFundMe page that you were raising money to build this wall. What, about $23 million so far?
We Build the Wall, and founded by an Air Force veteran, broke ground last month.
Now, to get around this issue of not being able to withdraw the $25 million out of the account, GoFundMe allowed the group to deposit that money into a not-for-profit, but if and only if each individual donor opted into having the money transfer from the original GoFundMe account to now this new not-for-profit account. And this new not-for-profit would be called We Build That Wall. Now, each donor would have 90 days to opt into the transfer, or they would get a refund of their money. So here's Brian actually asking people to opt in.
Hi, I'm Brian Kolfage, and I created the viral campaign that raised over $20 million for the southern border wall. And it's only possible because of your donation. So thank you. But do you really think the Democrats in Congress will take the money you donated and put it towards the southern border wall? I doubt it. That's why we are changing our mission from We Fund the Wall to We Build the Wall. And we, the people, can build the wall. We consulted with our nation's leading experts on border security and construction. There's hundreds of miles of private land along the border. To continue this mission, we need you to opt in so that your donation counts.
So Mike Cernovich did an interview with Brian where he asked him about this particular transfer issue. And here, Brian and Mike explain it in detail.
I saw an update, correct me if I'm wrong because it took me a while to kind of figure this out. My understanding is that you're leaving the GoFundMe, you're going to start, is it a C4 or is it a C3? I've heard both.
We started a 501c4, We Build the Wall, Inc., and webuildthewall.us is our website.
So you started a 501c4, and the money from the GoFundMe is going to be transferred to the C4, but only if people opt in? Do I understand that correctly?
That is correct. We made a promise to people initially. If we did not hit the $1 billion mark, we would refund their money. I made that promise. I'm staying true to my word. And if people do not want to go forward with this, they can have a refund. If they want to go forward and build the damn wall, we're going to build that wall with this money, and we're going to build it directly. We're going to right down to the border.
Okay, so that's what I want to take a step back on is
okay.
The default is people get a refund from the GoFundMe. Is that correct?
Right. After 90 days, if they don't respond, they will get a refund.
Now, 93% of the people actually opted into the transfer. So that's when Steve Bannon got involved. Check out this clip.
Steve, we are so honored to have you with us and part of this effort. What made you join this effort, and what does the border wall mean to you?
Well, look, we've been arguing about this for 30 years. And it was central. It was a central part of the Tea Party movement. It's one of the big reasons we had that huge victory in 2010. You know, we were able to shut down DACA in 2013. It's really the heart of the Trump movement. I think it's one of the reasons, if not the reason, that Donald Trump's president of the United States. You've seen the difficulty he's had in trying to get this, forward in the White House. It was virtually impossible to get establishment Republicans to help the president, much less the Democrats. The Democrats have been increasingly radicalized over the last couple of years. Now they're even saying that it's immoral to, every presidential candidate is saying it's immoral to even have ICE. And I think when Brian came out before Christmas, it showed the frustration of the American people. The people have heard about the talk. They've heard about this, and now finally, a decorated veteran has come forward who actually fought overseas in these kind of endless Middle East wars, has come forward and said, hey, I'm going to take action, right? I'm going to look to my fellow citizens to put some money up, and we're going to go find the toughest sites in the country and start to build a wall. And I think it's galvanized the country. And the board of advisors we've been able to put together, Eric Prince, John Moran, General Spalding, Sheriff Clark, Tom Tancredo, these are people that are some of the most dedicated people in the country about this issue. And Brian brings up a great point. The principal people that are hurt about this are working class Hispanics and African Americans. In this community down here, I was able to come down with Brandon Darby, I think 7 years ago, when we launched Breitbart Texas, to see what's happened to this community down here because there's no wall and because there's no border enforcement. And I think what Brian said, he says, hey, there's all this talk, Congress is fighting, they're shutting the government down. I'm going to sit there to the American people and say, hey, I'm prepared to take action. And I think that's why it's galvanizing a number of leaders that are here to help Brian. And it was just great to come down here and see the team come together, kind of the kickoff. But I can tell you, there's going to be, this is a man of action, and you're going to see action very shortly on pulling this together.
And then guess who else they got? Sheriff David Clark. Now, this I'm just playing for fun. This is the first minute of one of his promo videos for We Build the Wall. Fantastic. Check this out.
Sheriff David Clark from Milwaukee County is with me now.
We have dead cops because of that hands up, don't shoot live.
Phony. That's what he is. Al Sharpton's a cartoon.
He starts to lecture us about how we're all racist, we're all discriminatory. Then he talks about our police departments are on and on and on and on.
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here.
I'm looking at 3 dead cops this week, Sheriff, and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
We are a sovereign nation. When to be a sovereign nation, you have to have borders, and you have to protect those borders.
So now with celebrities like Steve Bannon, you got Sheriff Clark. We fund that wall is now we build that wall. Now to get people to transfer, this is what the founder, Brian Kolfage, told people what would happen to the money that was originally in a GoFundMe account that was going into this not-for-profit.
Yes, GoFundMe has not stopped accepting our donations from everyone who's donating. It's still going on, and everyone who donates right now, your money goes towards this wall. 100% of your money goes towards the wall. It's not going to line someone's pocket. I'm taking $0 of the salary, no compensation. It's going towards the wall. The mission is changing from we fund the wall to we build the wall. We need everyone to opt in. And when they opt in, it's ensuring that your donation counts towards this wall. If you don't opt in and you don't put your email address in there, your donation will not count and it will be refunded in 90 days.
Now, here is Brian Kolfage again, being asked by a Fox News contributor, how is the money going to be spent?
How do you guarantee that every penny that goes to your GoFundMe account is going to go to the wall?
Well, like I said, next week we have big plans. I'm putting my name behind this. I'm standing up for the American people. They've all given me this money, and I'm guaranteeing it that's going to go to the wall. And we'll explain more next week when we get all the information nailed down legally.
Here's Brian again on Mike Cernovich's channel, twice explaining how he's not going to take a penny.
So then if people are saying you're stealing the money, that just isn't true, right?
No, that's completely false. This whole project, I won't take a penny from these donations. Not a penny. I won't get paid from this corporation. Nothing.
Now, another question is, what legal and guaranteed way can be ensured that the money will only go to the wall?
We have a finance audit committee And it's in our bylaws. It lays out in our bylaws everything where this money goes and what it can be used for. The current money from the GoFundMe will only be used for the construction of the border wall. It won't be used for anything else. Now, future funds that are generated, there might be other costs that with admin and paying employees to build the wall. But the GoFundMe wall, the GoFundMe account, those funds only go towards the wall as promised.
The indictment says, to induce donors to donate to the campaign, Kolfage repeatedly and falsely assured the public that he would not take a penny in salary or compensation, as we've just seen, and that 100% of the funds raised will be used in the execution of our mission and purpose because, as Bannon said publicly, we're a volunteer organization.
You guys make introductions, you get introduced, you do like 5 minutes, etc., right? I did this kind of as a volunteer. I mean, are you going to raise, $2 billion to actually complete the physical barrier? I think the answer to that's probably no.
So we're all on the same page. The charges contained in the indictment are just that, accusations. And these defendants are innocent until proven guilty. So understand that these are just accusations, nothing more. So now the government alleges that the group told donors that Brian Kolfage, the founder and public face of the company, wouldn't be paid a cent. But as the New York Post lays out, he was paid and was living a lavish lifestyle. Purple Heart recipient Brian Kolfage is accused of pocketing $20,000 a month and a $100,000 upfront payment from the viral GoFundMe fundraiser, We Build the Wall, which launched in 2018 and raised $25 million. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan said Kolfage, 38, also spent the ill-gotten gains on a luxury SUV, golf cart, personal tax payments, and credit card debt. Now, Steve Bannon is also alleged through a not-for-profit under his control, he received over $1 million funds from We Build That Wall, which Bannon used to cover hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal expenses. This is what the government said happened. We Build That Wall was created and was funded through the money that they raised from the GoFundMe. Bannon controlled a not-for-profit, and We Build That Wall paid Bannon's not-for-profit for services. Bannon's not-for-profit then took the money they got from We Build That Wall and then paid Bannon and Kolfage's life expenses. Now, the way the government alleges this happened is that they created sham invoices from Bannon's not-for-profit. Now, We Build That Wall would pay the sham invoices from the donations. Now, that money would be used to pay back both Bannon and Kolfage hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal expenses. Now, Kolfage even noted in a text message that his payment arrangements were confidential and were on a need-to-know basis. And the fact that Bannon's not-for-profit got paid over $1 million from We Build That Wall is very problematic. So at the end of the day, now you know the facts. What you do with them is your choice. Now, if you watch this whole thing to this point in the video and you haven't subscribed, come on, what you doing? Sub to the channel. Let's have some more fun. Don't forget to like and share this video with people who you like, and I am out of here. I'm going to see you next time. Let me know in the comment section, do you think Steve Bannon is being railroaded here, or do you think there's something legitimate here? Talk to you next time. Peace.